Fight fans, welcome back to Carlo Prusa MMA. Today I'm with a returning guest. My guest today is fought in the UFC. He's fought in the WEC. He is a Strikeforce champion. He does a little commentary. He also does some promoting. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to get ready when you stay ready. He's a legendary member of the Scrap Pack. He is Gilbert Nino Melendez. Gil, what's going on, brother?
What's up, Carlo, man? I love the intro. I really appreciate it, man. I love going down. I don't mind going down memory lane, man. I love it.
Absolutely. So here we are talking once again. Got another big show. Fight Night 4 coming up. Great card here, man. You guys, I think, really outdid yourselves on this one. A big Muay Thai main event with Baker and Murrieta, Bobby Cerronio on the card. You got a huge amateur contest in Jones and Trey Orlando. Overall,
Yes.
Tell us about this. Talk about this fight card coming up.
Yeah, man, really excited about it. Always trying to build the next generation of fighters here in the Bay Area. The goal is to create a platform, reignite the ecosystem, the MMA ecosystem that was once so strong in the Bay Area. But we have some really talented people out here, and we need to provide them with that platform. One of our other big missions is to bring back some of the veterans who've been training and competing internationally and representing for the Bay Area, like Matt Baker, who's been going to all the way internationally, competing for Glory Kickboxing. And we know Glory Kickboxing has some of the biggest bangers out there, and that's where you really prove yourself. And he went out there and proved himself, had some huge wins. So, we're giving him that main event spot here in the Bay Area, here in San Jose, where he can have all his people come and support him, and all the people that have been supporting him and watching him over the years. Now they get to see him live in action. And he's taking on a really tough Moises Murrieta, who's actually fought a lot of MMA. I seen him fight in the LFA, has power in the right hand, has also traveled internationally, and has really been on the cusp of breaking out himself. And when we did sign this fight, he was out training in Thailand specifically for his Thai fighting. So this is a great main event. Yes, the return of Bobby Cerronio. Really love his attitude. Had a tough fight. His last fight, I forget who he fought again. What was the young man's name? Lake G, who's such a stud, and Lake G was able to hold him down. And this is when you really get to see what a fighter's made out of. How did they take their loss? How did they respond? And I've had a chance to talk with Bobby Cerrone. I've had a chance to see him train, and this young man is responding. He'll be taking on Chris Guia Fernandez, who's always a brawler, always a banger, always comes to fight, and he's trying to jump on Bobby now. Well, Bobby has one loss on him, so this is a great matchup between these young lads here. Also, I got my boy Kyle Clark. I train with them all the time. I want to know as a professional, really good amateur career. I think was ranked number 1 in the nation as a light heavyweight and a heavyweight before going pro. A beautiful debut on his first pro fight, Fight Night 2. Flying knee, big punches, did really good. It's surprisingly hard to find a 205-pound fighter to step up against someone like Kyle Clark. So, man, we try to find other people, but the only madman that was ready to do it was Chuck Campbell. And man, Chuck Campbell's a savage, man. He's a big guy. He's already fought in PFL. He's already fought in big stages and has definitely more fights than Kyle Clark. But I still think this is one of those fights that you have to make, and you get to see who the king of California is in the light heavyweight division. So really excited about this. I also have Scooby Wright. Scooby Wright is a ex-professional football player. Played a little bit for the Niners. Was a big legend in Arizona. I don't think it was Arizona State. It was Arizona something. And he's trying to pursue MMA. So he'll be fighting an amateur fight against Elijah Johnson. Two big boys going at it. So a really stacked card. A lot to be proud of. And really excited for December 13th.
Absolutely. Last time you were on, you were talking about how big this sport has gone and evolved from the days that you first started. You're starting the days of the barnyard beat down, all those little small shows.
That's right.
What's it like for you now to be able to give guys a platform, but maybe 1 or 2 fights here, they're at the UFC, they're at PFL, they make it to the big stage?
Yeah, man, it feels really good, and I need something to fight for. I'm a fighter. And, as I went into the gym business and the coaching business more, I started thinking, man, I need to fight for these guys to have more fights, right? We need more fight shows in the Bay Area. There's some really great talent out here. but they're pivoting in life because of the lack of opportunity. So to be able to give these guys opportunity to still continue to pursue their dreams of becoming world champions, UFC champions, to make money, or just to build a resume, or just to say I'm a professional fighter and really experience fighting in an amazing show that allows you to shine, big lights, big audience. It just feels top tier, our event, and it really is out there. So it's great. It's an honor, and it's our mission, to really reignite that Bay Area martial arts. So very proud of what we accomplished so far, but not satisfied. Not satisfied. I'll say the sexy part is over. The first two shows, first show, it's like, wow, this is fun. Now it's like, okay, we're in the fire now. Let's stay consistent. Let's keep this going. Let's stay motivated. Let's dial in, and let's talk. I can't wait to talk to you, Carlo, on fight show number 10.
Absolutely. So obviously, your gym's been in that area for a long time. A lot of great gyms in the state of California. Kind of a newer team that's emerging. Daniel Cormier's Fight Team Academy. Is that a rivalry maybe stemming there?
I mean, there's always going to be rivalries. I'm here to be the best, right? My team's here to be the best, and I'm trying to let all these guys in the Bay Area know they're cross training a lot. It's fun, it's all that, but I'm like, listen, I want to have the best gym, and that's all there is to it, Nothing personal to anybody. I want to have the best gym, but I have to admit, seeing Daniel Cormier, take on a coaching role and teaming up with Ant Dog, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I cannot deny they're going to be creating some special fighters out there, and they're already on the verge of it. So, this is great. This is what we want, right? We want struggle. We want to test ourselves. We want to fight Daniel Cormier's guys. We want to see where we're at, and we want to elevate. And the only way to elevate is by challenging ourselves, not trying to avoid each other, not trying to team up. Let's team up, Bay Area versus the world. You ain't going to go nowhere in this fight game if you try to team up in the little Bay Area versus the world. It doesn't happen that way, right? You need to be the best in your hometown. You need to be the best in your county. You need to be best in the region, best in the state, and then continue on. And once you're in the UFC and you're fighting for a title, then you can play friends with whoever you want in the area. But right now, it's about proving you're the best in the Bay Area. And the only way to do that is to challenge each other and step up to these challenges. So, yes, let's say it, their rivalries have begun. I want to be the best gym in the Bay Area. And the only way to do that is by creating this platform and testing ourselves and working the kinks out as we grow along the way.
Absolutely. I saw on Instagram talking a little Nate Diaz about the fight. He's talking about maybe Chuck Liddell, Jake Shields' name around. Should we see some big name people in attendance?
Absolutely, man. Well, Nate Diaz will be in the house 100%. One of his fighters, Daniela Arguello, who's been representing for them, will be fighting Veronica Mendoza. So, you got Lodi Stockton versus San Jose right there. So he plans on supporting her. And of course, he's my bro and supports me. And he's just a big supporter. And I would say, man, this is the people's champ. And he's a Bay Area ambassador. So for him being there's huge. Jake Shields, I'm actually in Las Vegas right now working the last UFC event here for ESPN, which is awesome. And Jake and I plan on linking up later tonight, and I want him to come out, and he's out here with Chuck as well, hanging out. So I'm definitely going to pressure them to come out. I know for sure Nate will be there, Jake will be there, some other local guys, and hopefully we can drag Chuck out there. But can't confirm those guys will be there, but definitely a great show to be a part of.
When you first broke into this and you were with Nate and Nick and Jake and the rest of the guys of the Scrap Pack, did you ever envision there'd be a time, even past your careers, where you guys are all doing your own things, you're all maybe going different aspects of the sport and really trying to turn this into as big as you can?
I saw our futures, but I never looked this far ahead. When you're 20 years old, you're looking to 35 years old. I was like, all right, I'm going to be a world champ, 35, I'll be retired. And it's important. I'll tell young fighters, man, look beyond your fight career. You have a second chapter, and you need to have a second fight because unfortunately our careers can't go till we're 80 years old. We only have a short amount of time. So to these young fighters out there watching, man, you can't look to 35, 40 years old. You got to look to 80 years old, what's next, and the fighting game will be over. So I've always looked, hey, I wanted to maybe have a gym. I want to be in the sport. This is what I love to do. Did I ever think I'd become a promoter and working side by side with one of the greatest promoters in combat sports history, Scott Coker, trying to build something big and special here in the Bay Area? No, I did not think I'd be there. I did know I'd be in the sport, but didn't know it'd be to this level. And I have way more years in me to grow, and I have a lot more fight in me, and I just can't really wait to see what the future holds. But no, didn't think we'd all be here in these spots, and we're also reconnecting more as we jump into the next chapters of our lives and try to cross pollinate more. So it's been a good time.
This interview, I talked about some of the big promotions that you've been on. One that I left off, you were lucky enough to fight in Pride. What was that like?
Man, what a dream come true. I really felt like that was going to be the rest of my career. I'm 2 fights in Pride, and all of a sudden they get bought out by the UFC. I had no idea what happened. But, for there was a time when 155 pounds was no longer available in the UFC. They ended up cutting the division. Josh Thompson fought Eve Edwards. It was supposed to be for the championship. They turned out no championship, got rid of the division. The division got so powerful at 160 pounds in Japan. Takanori Gomi, Sakurai, Joaquin Hansen, Kawajiri, Josh Thompson was there, Eve Edwards was there, Marcus Aurelio was there. There were so many badass 160 pounders out there. That became my goal. I want to go to Pride. I want to fight the best out there. I experienced Shudo, but when I went to Pride, Saitama Arena, 60,000 people, New Year's Eve, same card as Fedor Emelianenko. Are you kidding me? Man, what a dream come true to be a part of that. Vanderlei was on the card, Shogun was on the card, Gomi was on the card. I got to fight Kawajiri, who was ranked number 2 in the world at that time on New Year's Eve. Man, it was amazing being a part of that. And to say I was part of that history, I mean, unfortunately, it disappeared. They still have Ryzen out there now, and they have some influence out there. But to be a part of that part of MMA history, which was so important, was definitely a dream come true and something I love talking about on my resume. And people that are true fans are always bringing up, oh, you did Pride? I was like, that's right, I fought on Pride, man. In fact, I have a Pride hat over here somewhere. I was just sporting not too long ago.
Absolutely. One thing I think is awesome about your promotion is when you look at the records, the matches make sense. And I want you to talk from a talent, put your coach's hat on, take this from a talent perspective. How, in this day and age, how do you navigate matchmaking? You sometimes see guys maybe on the Contender Series, maybe in bigger shows, 10-0 record. Look, and it's like guys fighting 8-6, 6-8s, 5-7s. How do you navigate the balance?
Well, listen, I lived it, right? I lived it and I've always been a risk taker, right? And my team has always been a risk taker. So I get to lead by example. So when someone says, "Oh, you have to be selective. Oh, you're just giving your guy like you're getting into tough fights. Oh, I want an easy fight." I said, "I didn't take easy fights. I took tough fights. I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to find out where I was. I don't need to be a paper champ. And if I want to make a name for myself, my goal isn't just to make it to the UFC and have this paper record, this fake record that just gets me a chance at the Contender Series, right? I want to really know I'm ready and I really want to prove myself. And it's easy being a promoter telling these young fighters to take the risk because I lived it. If I didn't, if I wasn't a fighter and I said, take this hard fight, well, why would I take that hard fight? I said, well, you know what? I did. I fought Josh Thompson 3 times, the toughest guy in the neighborhood, right? And I fought him and I proved I was the best out here. And I took on all challengers. I lived that life so I can speak with conviction when I tell these youngsters, hey, man, this is how you do it. You have to take a risk, right? You have to fight a fight where maybe you're the favorite a little bit. Sometimes you're the dog a little bit. I never want to put anyone in a mismatch. And if I do tell them, I say, hey, man, this is your this is your chance. This at Glory. This is your chance to go for it. If you do want to go for it, right? You're supposed to lose, but you can shock the world, and you can, and you can surprise everyone, and you can take their spot, right? So I feel like I speak with conviction. I speak with honesty. I'm authentic. I'm true, and I'm a real person. That's how I've been my whole life, and I think it resonates well with the fighters out here. So I could always speak as a coach. Hey, as a coach, man, this is tough. This is a risk. I may say no, but as a fighter, I'm trying to take risks. I'm trying to go out there, and then as a promoter, I'm like, let's go, man. We want to entertain. We're not only in the fight business, we are in the entertainment business. If you want to go anywhere big, you have to entertain.
Absolutely. Last time you were on here, we talked about some of the greatest fights in your career. And I mean, it's like a movie. When you look at your topology, all the great guys that you've fought, what I want to do is I want to get from your perspective, your favorite matchups, but I want to count them down from 3 to 1. Number 3, who do you say is your third favorite fight?
My third favorite fight, I'd say Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal was my third favorite fight because when I fought Jorge Masvidal, he was a badass, but no one really knew how badass he was. But all the fighters knew how badass he was and didn't want to fight him. I said, man, this Cholo is fighting in the back streets, man. This guy is fighting with Kimbo. A lot of people didn't know who Kimbo was. A lot of people just didn't know how the streets were. Now the streets are popular, right? But I remember seeing this guy, man, this guy's a gangster. And I said, man, I'm going to squabble with him. I'm going to get my boxing sharp and ready. So to be able to outbox him and outstrike him, he definitely was worried about my wrestling, but I was really working my striking. Felt really good. Fight number two had to be in Pride when I fought Kawajiri the first time, right? He was number two in the world. It was New Year's Eve. I made it to Japan. I'm fighting the number two guy in the world. I'm undefeated. I walk in there. He drops me. I come back. I drop him. I drop him again. What a freaking amazing fight it was. I think maybe it was candidate for fight of the year, and I got the one. And oh man, it's kind of tough. I know people want me to say number one is Diego, but for me, the number one fight was Josh Thompson too, because I lost twice, and Josh Thompson was the guy who really beat me, and I worked my butt off, and I redefined myself, and I went and I beat Josh Thompson, and I was ready for that fight. I would have beat anyone that night. I don't think I was the most skilled as I've been in terms of where I become more skilled in the future. But man, I worked hard and my mental was so strong. I was not gonna let anyone beat me that night. I took some punches, I took some licks, and I came out victorious. But if I can say there's a four, of course, Diego Sanchez and I, man, was an amazing fight out there. That's an honorable mention. But just my instinct, those were the three I said.
Does a week go by where someone's not bringing up the Diego fight to you?
Man, I don't know. Maybe a month doesn't go by for sure. And you know what? I don't get tired of it, Carlo. I said, let's go. In fact, I watched it the other day. I can't lie. I was by myself and it came on. I said, you know what? Why not? Let's go watch this. I said, you know what? That shit still is good to this day.
Absolutely. So we're seeing a few former UFC guys, big names in the sports, now taking on this promotion venture. Obviously, Jorge Masvidal's done it. Anthony Pettis has done it. Habib's done it. Uriah Faber's taking it to the next level. He's competing on his next one. We're talking about more and more of these coming up. You mentioned in the past, in a perfect world, maybe we get another fight in. Could this be the return, maybe?
Man, who knows? Time will tell. Time will tell. But like you said earlier, if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. And I'm one of those guys. I love to train because I want to be my optimal self as a competitor. That's how I become an optimal businessman, an optimal coach, an optimal husband, an optimal father. I feel like training keeps me on point. I'm a martial artist by heart, so I love to stay sharp. With that said, if the right fight comes along, the right day, the right atmosphere at home, maybe somewhere with the I don't know. Who knows? But I never want to put the retirement or I'm not fighting. I never want to put it off the table, man. And if I do fight, I know it would be a treat for myself, right? I think I became like, I loved it. I would do it for free. Then I became a businessman and then I just fought for the money. And like now I know if I came back to it, it would be completely for me like when I was a young man. Like I do this for myself. It would definitely be a treat to myself, which I think I would perform really well. I know I'm older, but I know I would perform like excited and hungry and happy to be in there.
Absolutely. One thing I love about martial arts, and it does not get talked about enough, is the values, the disciplines, the morals that it invokes. Being a fighter is an up, down. It's a crazy roller coaster. You have the craziest highs of highs. You have the craziest lows of lows. For you, how have you grown and evolved from being in this sport?
Yeah, man, it's taught you so many lessons. I was this young man who had a chip on his shoulder, wanted to fight everyone, man. I just wanted to prove I was the baddest, but man, I'm just a different man now. I've went through it all. I'm so comfortable of who I am. There's no insecurities, I don't care how I look. I don't care, what anyone thinks about me. Like it's this freedom that fighting has given me, right? I'm so comfortable with who I am and fighting has given me that and it's giving me my discipline. It's helped me find my voice and fighting does so much for me and I'm so proud of my little daughter. She's wrestling now, right? And I'm not asking to be this world champ great wrestler, but I just know with going through wrestling practice and going out in front of an audience and performing amongst your peers and having the risk of getting pinned and losing and coming out victorious, like what that does for your soul and for your mental and how it can build your character is just so important to me. So, fighting huge on a big stage is one thing, but even anyone who just has the guts to just step into an amateur fight, a PKB, a jiu-jitsu tournament in front of their friends and family and girlfriend, it gives you so much growth, and what it is, it builds durability. And when you become durable, you're just like, you take struggles and hurdles so much easier in life. You're like, oh, nothing's worse than ass kicking. In fact, that ass kicking wasn't really that bad. I was really scared of doing that, and now I'm not that scared. So it's so empowering, and I love what it gives. I encourage everyone to train, everyone to face that. I wouldn't say that fear, but that challenge and overcome it, and just find out how powerful and strong you are.
Absolutely. Before we wrap up here, I want to take it back to the event a little bit. In addition to pro, you also offer amateurs the opportunity to showcase their skills. How important is that?
Man, it is huge, right? These amateurs, you know, need to taste this big stage before they go pro, right? And what I love about amateurs is there's that even better freedom. Who cares if you lose? You get to start all over 0-0 when you're pro again. So I get to talk to these youngsters even more. And when we're talking about having guts and taking on challenges, I said, you should almost never say no to an amateur. I mean, if it's a decent fight, obviously there's a mismatch or something, but when you have the opportunity, even fight up, like you get a chance to fight a guy who's going to be great in the future. Why don't you go test him now? Who cares if he beats you? Get your information, find those challenges now. I love that there's amateur. I didn't have that as much when I was young, right? We kind of a little bit amateur and then right to pro, right? So to me, it's like, man, you can actually get 10 amateur fights now before you go pro. 8 amateur fights, really get the experience. So to me, it's amazing to get that real-time experience. Now these amateurs in California, you weigh in the day in as an amateur, but on the pro card, you can weigh in the night before. Now these guys get to drop a weight class, really go through the motions of being a pro, weighing in the night before, jumping on a big stage, doing the walk, feeling the nerves. And yes, you may lose, but you don't have the overall long-lasting repercussions of having a loss on your record, or even keeping all those wins. Right? You might be undefeated as an amateur. One of my young pros, he was undefeated as an amateur, had a tough pro fight because of it, came up short as a pro, 1-on-1 now as a pro. It's okay, but it's the preparation and it's the journey. And it's really important for amateurs to get their feet wet, to be amongst pros and to challenge themselves and build their value as amateurs.
Absolutely. All right, Gail, last question for you, my friend. Why do people need to tune in and watch Fight Night San Jose 4?
Well, Texie Arena, December 13th. Show up. Doors open at 4:30. It's exclusive to people who come in person, so you cannot stream it. You cannot watch it. We will record. We'll show you later, but we want that energy. We want that exclusive rights to the people who come buy tickets and show up. And we need them to show up. We want you to show up. We want everyone to show up to promote and to really support the next generation of athletes. So go to Ticketmaster.com. Go to my Instagram at Gilbert Melendez. I have the ticket link in there. If you want some VIP tickets, if you want a suite, if you want to support the event, you like what we're saying, you like what we're doing, DM me. I'll get back to you immediately and help join us in creating this magic for the Bay Area.
Absolutely. Well, Gail, man, thank you again. Always a pleasure talking to you, and good luck on your event, brother.
Always a pleasure, Carl. Look forward to it the next time.
Absolutely. That's it for us today. I'm Carl Peruzza. He is El Nino. He's Mr. Gilbert Melendez. Take care, ladies and gentlemen.